And spawn on the left side as the blue Chinese, we have Tabben. Spawn on the right side as the red Russians, we have House of the Trading Post Community. So what do you think how this match is going to go? Because to me it's going to be mass spam versus mass spam.
Yeah, this is actually kind of an interesting one because China sort of has two different ways they can go about these matches. They can either go all in with the War Academy at age 2, or they can pull up for an FF with some more advanced units, I would call them. You know, their Iron Flails, the Meteor Hammers, their Arquebusiers. So it really depends on how much space Russia gives them here. If Russia's going right for them, like they normally do, and they catch China off in age 2, it could go well for China, it could not go well for China, because of course the thing with China is you're not just training one unit, you're training a mixture of units from the different banner armies. You're either going to be making, you know, your Hussar equivalent with the Skirmisher, you're going to be doing Skirmisher and Pike, or you're going to be doing Pike and Cav Archer. The
Yep.
Yo Army is pretty. I think it's going to be pretty rare to see the Yo Army here. It's either going to just be Old Han or standard Banner Army here for the most part. It does turn into that.
I'm trying to think what the Russians should deploy on the field. If the Chinese player does go heavy in whether it be Chukonus or Arquebus, the church improvement we talked about earlier, get the counter Jaegers, could be very useful if the Chinese are going to eye for more of the light infantry play.
Yeah, indeed. But China can actually counter that with either, I believe, either their flamethrowers or the if they get out a big mass of their step riders, that could also pose a problem. So you gotta kind of have to be careful with all that too, because China does indeed come with a mix of units instead of just one.
Well, we don't see the church improvement, the Tsar's reform, but we do see a Streletsy and cavalry cards along with the boyars. So maybe I'm a bit more of a cavalry focus with Streletsy as well.
Yep, that would basically put China on to doing Old Han army for the most part.
Let's see, we do have the Mandarin Duck Squad. Got the Diplomatic Entry, got the Rat and Shields, got the Mongolian Scourge. Even though I see people get this card in their deck, I rarely ever see people actually get it researched or deployed. Territorial armies, so maybe I'm for the territorial armies. Yeah, you can't really say. He has a mix of everything. See, he's going for the Summer Palace to get those free bannered armies. The Russians aging up with the Quartermaster. They got the local kitty cat, steals eggplant. Here's a fun fact. Eggplants, before they were cultivated, they actually were in the shape and a color of an egg. Hence
Oh,
the
they
name.
were?
Yep, that was their original color. And somehow they became purple.
Quite strange how you go from white to purple.
If you ever look at some, like, the history of growing crops, you'd be surprised. Like, it was only a century ago, where watermelons were hardly red on the inside. They were still mostly greenish, tougher brine on the inside.
Yeah, and wasn't corn used to be just a type of grass that the Native Americans basically turned into a viable crop?
Yep. And the thing as well, when it comes to the new world plants, the potato and corn is when they brought those back over to Europe, that basically ended most of famines in Europe, after all, because those crops are pretty robust.
Yep, but when they didn't work, like in the Irish potato famine, then things really went downhill again.
But the funny thing about the Irish potato famine, Ireland was still a net exporter of food. It was really British mismanagement.
Yeah. Imagine having more food than you can sell it off and still starving. Not
Yep.
that good.
Oh, got a round of recruits. Hunting dog was being researched. Also bringing a shipment coin. There's a lot of villagers on food, so maybe I am for an age up. Maybe not. We got the French allies here as well, bringing their shipments of resources. Oh, here's a funny thing talking about the potato. It was one of the German princes was trying to introduce the potato to the German diet. But he had a really hard time and trouble because people did not know how to cook it at the time and things of that sort. Since he couldn't have people adopt it, he decided to declare it as a royal food. It had a royal garden to grow the potatoes. Of course, whenever something becomes royal, everybody wants it. And so he gave his guards orders to protect the royal garden, but also gave them the order to not protect it very well. So they were encouraged to accept bribes to give potatoes when people start demanding them or try and get access to them.
Oh, that's one way to make it popular, I guess.
Yep, by accepting bribes. Well, we got a round of Cossacks here. We do have Confucian Academy with the fast fortress for the Chinese, which will of course give them a round of the arquebus, which would not be super useful against these Cossacks, but mostly just going for the recruits right now. That will be useful.
Yeah, it will be a good setup though, because it seems like, at least for now, it's mostly going to be recruits here, so arquebus will give a pretty strong push going forward.
Large amounts of them coming on in. Bear has a shipment. Goes to the Cossacks. I thought he was going to go with the Streletsy. He's in relation to the French. Who wants to be allied with the French? Going for the house of the village here is probably a good idea. Try to pop cap your opponent. And that will definitely put him to pop cap because that's his only village on the field. Age up's almost complete. Another 6 seconds. There's arquebus. That'll give him some room to breathe, but not enough, I would say. He's going for intervention, but wait, he has no ally. What do you get as an intervention force if you have no ally?
That's a good question. What do you get? I don't think you get anything if you do that.
I guess we'll find out soon enough. He's not researched diplomatic intrigue either, so he does have to pay the full price for export. Another village going on up. He's going for the British allies. Will he get it in time? Whoops.
The units are invisible, you can't see them.
Oh, there's the musketeers. It waits.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, so that's pretty cool. It queues them up for you, so it does very nice.
Yep. So you don't have to do any fancy. Just queue up and go. I was half thinking it was going to be something from the French, since that was his last ally. Got a round of Streletsy on the field.
The meteor hammers are coming in to deal with the infantry.
Yep. He only has a handful of recruits.
Shouldn't matter too much though, since the meteor hammers do attack from range with their melee attack.
Yeah, but they're just so much on the field. He does go and bring out his bayonets. These guys don't do any AoE. That's the other one, iron flails. And more recruits just being streamed on in. Bring a shipment of wood as well. We got another Old Han army deployed on in. Had a pretty good time. Meteor Hammer getting a lot of free hits there on the Streletsy. Villagers gonna get back to work. 19 villagers versus 29. He also does not have a barracks on the field, so he only has other unit sources. Oh, looks like the Chinese player has stabilized for the moment, but the recruits are regrouping. Maybe a round of the, what's called Porschex wouldn't be half bad for the torch damage.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad.
Now a stable here. Trying for a bit of stability in his life. I think he's on the phone call. And the Russian player is trying to pull out Doc. Doesn't? I think he should be just a bit more aggressive. Try to push into his opponent's base. Try to win the game. Knows his opponent's been crowd on in. He's denied a lot of collection time on resources. So he has now barracks in the field going for the territorial army. Chengdo's swords are not going to be super useful. Arquebus would be decent. Oh, there's not a couple Cossacks on the field.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Chengdo's swordsman has 18 damage. Flying Crow getting hit quite hard there, but just Streletsy.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if you're speaking at the moment. You're coming very, very quiet. Yep, he must be on a phone call. Either way, we do now have a couple of the Cossacks pushing forward. Got the Flying Crow moving around. It does get a round of Redcoats on the field. Flying Crow gets some shots off the barracks, or the blockhouse. Taking out that stuff can be very nice, since he needs deny the forward reinforcements. Also bringing some forbidden armies. Shaolin Monk getting gunned down quite a bit. Got a round of Streletsy here. Cossacks will find the Flying Crow, at least one of them. Let's get a shot down the Streletsy. Flying Crow is alive with only 18 health, so not a whole lot. Russian with 10 Arquebus on the coming on out.
Pick up all those chain ousts and go right after the skirms.
Yep. There you go. You're back. Sorry. Got some of the Cossacks. Push way forward, taking some damage. Five more Cossacks deployed on the field. And we got a round of the Forbidden Army. We're just going to stand and fight. One of the Disciplined Iron Foes do take quite a bit of damage there. Oh, got a couple of Cossacks over here. More Streletsy. Sorry.
And a bit we outnumbered there, it looks like.
Yep. Of course,
Yeah,
most of the are Streletsy, but if he has trouble, yeah. Another territorial army there. And looks like Blue does back the game now. Overall, pretty good aggression there by the Russian.